Sorry, some officers sign and read it totally different than what the law
Well,
says.
the non-public secure area would be beyond that door. So that would
Exactly.
mean that you would need to, if you have a firearm and if you were to go back there, you would need to put it in one of the lockers.
And the lockers are outside. So you've got that 100% correct. Other officers say that your sign on the outside of this building, which is no weapons allowed in, and then it specifically states unless under license or other Texas law, they say, well, we have a sign out there and we have this sign. And I, explain, I said, look, that's not what the sign's saying. You're telling people you'll arrest them if they walk in here, and not this specific location. This is another one. And so the officer's like, well, I'll still arrest them if they go in there because I've told them they can't now. And what we've got coming up with constitutional carry, you're going to get a lot more people carrying firearms. And because of that, if I've got, officers all the way up to lieutenants telling me they'll arrest you if you come in here, and there's going to be a lot of issues. And so basically, what I'm doing, I walk around, I document signs, I ask officers their interpretation of them to make sure that the department in general, or at least the officer I speak with, understands why the lockers are there, what's the public part of the lobby, what's the secure part. And like I said, you pointed out that door there, it's very clearly marked in this lobby, what's public, what's not. But again, you still have officers that tell people, they say, look, it says security area, no weapons allowed, and they don't read the rest of the sign. Part of that is also because they have 411, 207 up there, but they don't have part B on the sign, which explains what is the public part and what isn't. So, I understand how officers can see that part, but when they look at the outside sign and you tell them, look, it says right here specifically, and we still have this problem. Just last month at the central substation, I had a lieutenant put me in cuffs and threatened to arrest me. And I'm like, look, this is why I'm down here. And you guys know, that substation knows, I never carry a firearm when I speak with officers just because I don't find that wise. It's just asking for trouble. But again, you got lieutenants doing it. Everyone in the police department has a different view on a sign. And again, it's just an educational problem. It's not I don't believe there's ill intent, but I honestly believe, like I said, with constitutional carrying coming up, that it's an issue that all departments, all substations need to get a memo out to their officers saying, hey, if you didn't know, this is what the sign means. If you didn't know, when the law changes, under other law is going to apply to the same sign. And so, like I said, it's frustrating being in the position I'm in, because, I'm not out trying to get people in trouble. I'm trying to, be polite, be courteous, say, hey, look, there's a problem. This is the problem. I said, you understand what the sign is. And I'm sure you're aware other officers may not understand that or may not know what's going on. For all I know, the Fusion Center called down here and said, hey, we know this guy's going over there, and make sure your officers know. I hope they did, actually, because they know what I do. People who film in the public, we get intelligence files put on us. They do backgrounds, they investigate us, and they're aware, hey, I'm not out here causing problems. I'm out here educating officers and departments. So, like I said, that sign, all your other signage outside is great. Had some other issues with signs in the downtown area. And so again, I just go around making sure that signs aren't an issue, that officers don't misinterpret. You understand what the sign is, and I'm sure you're aware other officers may not understand that or may not know what's going on. For all I know, the Fusion Center called down here and said, hey, we know this guy's going over there, and make sure your officers know. I hope they did, actually, because they know what I do. People who film in the public, we get intelligence files put on us. They do backgrounds, they investigate us, and they're aware, hey, I'm not out here causing problems. I'm out here educating officers and departments. So, like I said, that sign, all your other signage outside is great. Had some other issues with signs in the downtown area. And so again, I just go around making sure that signs aren't an issue, that officers don't misinterpret. So can you answer me, has the department already been briefed or trained? Have officers been notified of the changes with the upcoming law? Have you guys had additional training?
Not yet, but I haven't been to in-service yet, so it most likely is being done then.
Okay, so probably like maybe the week before the law goes into effect, or
I'm not too sure. I mean, my in-service will be in September, so that's most likely when I'll be educated on the updated new law.
right.
That's usually, and oftentimes they will send out memos, videos, something or another to educate us on that. So
Right.
usually we'll probably get like some kind of a video thing that we have to watch at roll call and then go from there.
Right.
Just to update us and make sure that we're all updated on
Up-
that. So that way they
updated.
don't have to wait for in-service, but obviously that's above my pay grade, so I'm not exactly
No,
sure
no.
how it's gonna be, how exactly the education portion is.
Right, not a problem. Again, like I said, with that coming up, I mean, for someone being in my position, like I said, I'm like, look, I'm down here educating you on the law, and you're going to try to arrest me for the same thing. I'm like, now I got to double my efforts, and it is what it is. I mean, if you'll notice, I don't point my camera directly at you. That's an interview technique. It makes officers apprehensive or nervous if I do that. And again, so my methods are different than a lot of these guys who go out and film or whatever. But I do appreciate you. I got that. Again, that I asked that just because I respect people's views or whatever, even though this is a public lobby. With that in mind, it's Officer Sanchez.
Yes.
And I'm sorry, 1310. Again, I post good reviews with officers along with bad ones, just because I believe that the public should know it's not one way or the other. They have a right to see good interactions as well as negative. So I appreciate your knowledge on that. Do you understand the sign that I'm talking about outside?
I'm not aware of which sign.
Okay, can we just walk out and look at that real quick so I can show you and see, maybe get your reasoning on or why you might think that some other people believe it's right over here. Yeah, this sign right here. And this sign probably causes a lot of officers to say, well, it says right there, no weapons allowed in city buildings. But then again, right underneath it is unless specifically permitted under Texas state license or other Texas law, which of course includes, people with
of the law that we, or the statute that we just observed on the other side.
Well, this sign is actually under a different clause. It's going to be 411-209, which prohibits cities from putting up 30-06 signs. And that goes into a little bit more detail, but that's the reason they have to include this part on this sign. Otherwise, the city could be sued for having a sign that says the same
The way
thing.
that I look at it, sir, is that this is just an initial sign saying no firearms allowed, and then the sign inside is just more expanded upon exactly what you can and can't do.
Right.
Obviously, it's right above the lockers, to which we are asking that you politely put your firearm in there in order to make communication with you all.
Right. So if you weren't aware of the lockers inside or of that sign in there, if you just saw this sign and you weren't educated on this part here, but someone told you, but look, it says, unless specifically under Texas state license or other law, is that pretty clear to you? Because it seems clear to me, but a lot of officers say, no, you can't do it. That's what the sign says.
Well, I mean, I have pre-existing knowledge of the sign inside, so it's generally pretty clear to me.